If everybody would please just turn off your cell phones or mute them, we're about to start our meeting. Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Regal Shores, November 26th, board meeting. Robin, the roll call, please.
Marty Danowitz, Shelley Siegel, Richard Sherman,
Here.
Joyce Deutsch, Robin O'Connor. Mr. President, we have a quorum.
Thank you.
I would like to make a motion to approve the October 22nd minutes of Regal Shores condominium directors. Do I have a second? All right. Marty seconded and Shelley also, Siegel as well.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Opposed?
Motion passed.
Good morning and welcome to the November 26th Regal Shores Condominium Association Board Meeting. The main purpose of today's meeting is to present and vote on the Regal Shores budget for 2026. You should have received a copy of the proposed budget in the mail. The presentation will be given by our treasurer, Marty Danowitz. Just for information, the Master Board budget was presented and adopted at last week's Master Board meeting. There was a 5.09% increase over the 2025 budget Master. December 24th is our annual board meeting. Elections are generally held, votes tallied, results announced. This year, there were 4 seats available for election. There were 3 self-nominations, leaving 1 seat open to be appointed for a 1-year term. Therefore, our board of directors will remain basically unchanged yet again. We will see if there are changes on the executive. Please remember that our meet and mingle is scheduled for January 21st. This is not simply a building get-together, but the entire Regal Shores community. Incredible opportunity to your neighbors, both new and old. We are limited to the first 200 residents due to the size constraints of the Palm Room. So please sign up early with your checks made out to Regal Shores Condominium Association. Again, this is for only. Hoping you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Everyone a very healthy and happy season. Marty, the treasurer's report, please.
Morning. Good morning, everybody. This is the financial report for Regal Shores Condominium Association for the month of October. This is consolidated Regal Shores 1 and 2. For operating funds, we had $677,000, predominantly made up of our quarterly assessment. We had special assessment funds for the elevator of $253,000. Special assessment funds for the roof, $2,030,000. Reserve funds, $1,063,000. Other current assets of $726,000, predominantly made up of prepaid master fee of $186,000, prepaid insurance of $420,000, and an accounts receivable for regular assessments of $149,000. Our current liabilities were $1,144,000, predominantly made up of insurance payable of $403,000 and deferred income, which is the quarterly assessment of $608,000. Special assessment Liability for elevators, same 253,000. Special assessment liabilities for the roofing, the same 2,030,000. Overall reserve cash, 1,063,000, and our net equity was $259,000. Significant income statement activity for the month of October. For Eagle Shores 1, we had the power washing for $4,800, and we had some repairs and maintenance bills that put us a little bit over budget for the month of $13,000, predominantly for Kerr construction work of $10,000, TK elevator repair of $2,300, and there was a reimbursement for Building 9 fence repair of $2,800. For Eagle Shores 2, we had virtually nothing recorded in October for repairs and maintenance. It's probably timing. We had some plumbing, maintenance, and repair work in Regal Building 11 for $1,600, and the fire alarm equipment maintenance contract for $2,900. That's it. Thank you.
Marty, quick question.
Yes.
On the elevator assessment, what's left on that?
What's that?
On the elevator assessment,
Yeah.
what's left? What is it, one more?
I'm not sure it should be the $200,000, and that gets paid off in the first quarter. Yeah. Yes. Yep. That's correct.
Marty, thank you. And now the Campbell report, please.
Good morning. Okay, so work order report. We had 20 work orders open for the month of October. Looks like there are 3 pending, waiting on supplies for lighting. That looks like that's it for that report. Sorry, can you hear me now? Is that better? All right, apologies. Additionally, so Building 10, we had that big leak from the sprinkler system, the fire sprinkler system. The leak was repaired, the concrete block was put back, stucco, etc. Now we're just waiting for the finish work. Once the stucco cures, we'll go ahead and paint it, and then we'll do the finishing touches and a punch list. Building 11, as those that live in that building know that there's been a lot of bee activity. We've identified the area which is above the elevator tower on the roof line that has another infestation there with a hive.
It's not under the roof, though, is it?
At this point, it doesn't look like it. Fingers crossed, we don't have to remove anything other than just go up there and crawl up underneath the eave and pluck it out. Unfortunately, that's a very expensive process. The lift and the cost to do the removal is roughly about $2,500, and the board will sign a proposal for that later today once the final proposal is sent to us. And again, you're receiving lots of mail from our office. If you will, please make sure once you receive an envelope, letter, please open it immediately, fill out all the information, return it. We have the annual meeting coming up. We need to establish a quorum, etc. And that is my report. Thank you.
Ed, I have a question regarding the the proposal for the bee removal. I know we spoke about this earlier. It seems that the main cost is for the lift.
Yes, sir.
Now, in hindsight, looking back over the year, or actually over the past few years, anything that goes on that we need a lift for runs anywhere between $1,500 to $2,200 each time we need to have a contractor bring one in.
Correct.
Is there any kind of a way that either we can rent it direct from the equipment provider? Or has that become a liability issue?
Well,
or-
the liability issue is one of them. If we rent the lift and something goes wrong, then, we're on the hook. But that being said, we're still going to pay the same price. They're really not charging us more to rent the lift. It's really a pass-through on those. That's just how much a lift costs these days, unfortunately. The purchase, probably about 120,000.
Yeah, but then, Marty, you have all kinds of regulations with the.
Specialized mechanics can only work on them, all kinds of things of that nature. It's a hassle. That's why most people just rent them. Owning them is cost prohibitive.
I was asking if there was a contract available with some of these companies for yearly fee. You can use it when you need it.
We don't use them enough for that, but again, there's a huge liability for us to rent it for another contractor to use it. So for us, I just don't think it makes sense. We often use the Coral Lakes lift for projects like lighting and things of that nature, which works fine. It's just not large enough to reach the top of our buildings. And that's when this comes into play. Or if we hire a contractor to do sealing, water sealing, or an area that they have to get to that's not accessible from the roof, those kinds of things. But I mean, we can certainly talk about more, what are the other options out there? Unfortunately, especially right now, there's so much construction going on between SERS and everything else that these lifts are at a premium, and it's supply and demand. And if they're actually shipping them from all over the country into Florida just trying to meet the demand. So it's unfortunate. It's been going on for a little bit too. It's not really a new development for us.
I'm just wondering, you had mentioned that it wasn't big enough for us to that it wasn't big enough for Regal Shores to handle that kind of a contract. If what Stuart had mentioned, if we could do. But I'm wondering if maybe Coral Lakes as a whole could possibly get together and do that.
Perhaps. Well, let's talk about it some more and see what we do.
All right. Yes. All right, I'll make a note of it, and I'll see if we can do something like that. Okay, at this point, we have our traditional open mic, 3-minute limit. Additional time may not be ceded by another member. Only items specifically on the agenda may be addressed at this time. Each member may speak once on each agenda item. Comments will be taken under advisement.
Hi. So I can only speak about agenda items now?
At this point, yes.
Well, when do I get to speak about?
We have a second
Okay.
open mic.
Okay, I didn't know that, so forgive me, please. But while we're speaking about what was on the agenda, when Ed said, you said about a fence in Building 9? You did? I said it. Marty said it. I'm sorry, Ed. Marty said it. You must be talking about my fence? Because I'm in Building 9? My insurance company paid for that fence, so I don't know why.
Yeah, Alan, it's only a balance sheet item showing that money came in as opposed to it going out.
Oh, I thought he
That's
said
all.
that
No,
we paid.
No.
Because, I'm sorry, but it's not really good to you. And also, I just have a general question.
After,
No, a general question regarding the elevators. Okay. That was a budget line that he said that we had to pay for elevator repairs. Is that not true? Did you just say? I know that, but I thought you said for repairs.
No,
No,
Yeah, you did.
the repairs
Didn't
were
he
for
say
the,
repairs?
the
He did
repairs
say
were for the,
repairs.
for the
no, nothing for
fire.
elevator repairs.
Oh.
General repairs and maintenance.
Okay, then I apologize. Thank you.
Ruth Squillanti, Building 9, Unit 403. Okay, I have questions regarding the budget. I'd like to know why the budget is going up.
Marty?
I mean the maintenance, excuse me.
Basically, it's contractual.
What?
Marty will explain it. He'll go into it further. But basically, it comes down to contracts that we have that have an escalation clause every year. And the amount that we're going up is minor. Minor. It's so minimal that it's almost unheard of. You have it in front of you, don't you?
Third or fourth page, doesn't matter. Both
Is
of them.
minimal 161 per quarter? That's minimal?
If you look at the budget, the fourth page of the budget analysis, just 3 or 4 items make up 80% of our budget we have really no control over. One of which is the Master Association. That's 30% of our budget. Just that one number. You take that number plus insurance, we're now up to 55% of our budget.
What is the master amount?
The master amount is over $1,000, 1,001 per unit per quarter, $1,000 per quarter. It's a third of our budget. The analysis is in there. Go to the fourth page. You don't have to write it down. It's all there already.
The print is so small I could barely see it.
And if you look at master fee, insurance, cable, and management fee, that's 82% of our budget.
See if mine works.
And these are all contractual items, so we have no control over them.
Okay.
And our reserves went up because of Sears. We have no choice with that either. It's a Florida mandated requirement for additional reserves that we have to take. Not something we can control, and we tried to keep that at a minimum.
What percentage is reserves?
What's that?
What percentage is reserves?
Of what? Percentage of what?
Going up, the reserves, that we had to put away for reserves.
Reserves went from 342 to 503, so it figures it's like a 60% increase. Yeah, the number was much higher when we first got the Sears report. Could have been up to $800 to $900 a quarter increase. We kept it to $160, which is actually less than Coral Cove is taking a hit for.
Okay, and can you please tell me how many more payments for the elevator there is?
2 more.
2?
Mm-hmm.
Thank God.
One in December and then one at the end of the first quarter, and that's it.
Okay. And is it possible to get a written report on what is due and when? The maintenance, the elevator, and the
Well, unless they're
parking
ACH.
space,
ACH.
and the cafe? What of those is due when?
The cafe, well, the parking should be the
Bruce,
second.
you're going to be receiving coupons in the mail. They're in the process of being printed out.
I'm sorry, say again?
You will be receiving coupons in the mail. They are in the process of being printed.
But that's only
I
for
don't
those who
get
pay by check.
coupons.
That's for the cafe.
Do you have an
But
automatic?
if you pay by check,
You
ACH, they don't send them out.
Yes.
Only for check.
She's automatic.
I don't get
withdrawal.
coupons, so I just want it written out when X has to be paid. The
I'm
maintenance.
sure if you go to the Campbell office, they'll be able to help you out.
Upstairs in the office.
Yes.
Thank you.
Marcia Stein, Building 6. I'm also a dummy. I don't know how to read this. So let me ask Marty. On page 3 at the bottom, it says 2026 quarterly per year, $196, I think that says. Does that mean we're paying $196 per quarter for next year?
Where are you looking?
I'm on the bottom of page 3.
Yeah.
That little box on the right-hand side?
No, that's just a piece, that's just a general Sears Reserve analysis.
Okay. So can you just tell us what it's going to be per quarter?
For what?
It's on there.
Our payments?
3,251 a quarter.
3,000,
251 a quarter, which is made up of, what is it? Reserves of 503 per quarter and HOA assessment of 2,748 a quarter.
2,000?
748.
It's on.
That's the maintenance or whatever we call it.
$121 more a quarter.
I didn't hear you, Joyce.
It is 121 more each quarter.
Then this year.
Yeah, you're paying 3130 for 2025, and now it's 3251.
Okay, thank you.
And that's for Regal Shores 1. For Regal Shores 2, it's going from 3065 to 3264.
Okay,
Just so you understand that, there's a different assessment.
thank you.
Just focus, Marcia, just focus on this gray box on the last page.
On the last page.
That's the
Third page.
information.
On the third page. Yeah, well, that's where I am.
Tells you
Huh? I see that.
on the third page, that box gives you the important things you want to know.
Hi, I'm Elaine Garber. I'm in Building 7. And I was wondering, are we to expect an increase every year? And some of these contracts that are increased, is there any way to renegotiate them so they don't increase? And the last thing is, could we, I know a lot of communities are changing the cable companies to.
We're stuck with that at the 10-year contract that was signed a number of years ago. That's for the entire community, not just us.
It was a good contract.
How many years are left on that?
Excuse me?
How many years are left on the?
7.
7 more years.
It's not, it doesn't expire till 2032.
Okay, and then the contracts that
Could
are
you speak
increasing.
into the mic? It's not,
The microphone up a little bit.
yeah.
The contracts that are increasing, is there any way to renegotiate so they don't increase? So we
We
don't have.
try, they don't have a lot of luck with that. For example, we just re-signed our landscaping contract, that we kept the increases no more than 2 or 3% a year. We just don't have a choice.
So then these percentages are what we could expect each year?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay, and then I have another question about what we pay the Master Association. I know I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, that we got a coach for the bocce ball, that we're paying a coach for the pickleball and a coach for the tennis?
That's all part of the master budget. You're paying for it.
Right, but I think, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, when I first came here, the carports, whatever, was spread out, the fee to clean them through the community, and it got changed where just the person pays for the car.
Correct.
Couldn't they have the salaries, and again, I don't know what they are, but just a small percentage play pickleball, play tennis, play bocce, but yet it's spread out for all of us? Why couldn't it be the people that sign up? Why do we have to pay
They
the
consider that a
salary?
general amenity and anybody could use.
That's just
But-
part.
It's not on.
You're not on.
Okay, when you purchased here, you decided to live in a condominium, which is a group living. I don't play tennis, I don't play any sports. I don't participate in many things, but I'm paying for everything. That's just the nature of living in an association or a community like this. There are condominium associations. If you buy a private home, then you pick and choose where you want to pay for different services. But
Out of,
we have no choice in that. That's just the way it is.
Doesn't seem right, but thank you.
No, it's right.
Part of your deed.
part of your. Okay, am I up?
Okay, we are, is there anything on the Zoom, Marty?
Anybody on Zoom want to ask a question? If you you ought to unmute yourself, please? No one's unmuting. No, looks like nobody.
Nobody?
No one?
Okay, so moving on to active committee reports.
Somebody wanted to speak. Come up, come up.
Come up to the mic.
About the community living. It's true that it is spread out among the whole community, but not every community has what we have. Not every community has aerobics classes that nobody pays for. Not every class. The only thing in this community that the only group that pays for all of their choices or all of their classes is in the art department. Every sport here is divided between the whole community. So that's not quite true that every condominium has that. Many condominiums have individual prices for different things, and the people who participate then pay for those activities.
That's true.
Okay, moving on to active committee reports. Joyce, landscaping, please.
Good morning. Can you hear me? Yeah. We now have our winter flowers, and fingers crossed our irrigation will continue to work. The damage that occurred with our summer plantings were due to major irrigation issues. I have refreshed our monument at our entrance. I am requesting your help with regard to the rocks in that area. In the past, many of those expensive rocks have been stolen. Plants were stolen. Some people felt that they were entitled to take them. If you see anyone doing that, please take notice of who it is and tell them that they are not entitled to any of those rocks, and let us know. We have had many trees removed due to both aging and disease. Some are still in the process of being removed. There have been requests for work to be done, and even though I okay it to be done, it does not happen immediately. People seem to think that their request should be acknowledged as soon as they request it. There is a process, and sometimes that takes time. Furthermore, not every request can be honored. Please take into consideration that we are an aging community, and our landscaping is aging as well. We are not a country club. We are a 55 and over community, and we have a budget that requires that I stay within my allowance. For first floor units, not everything in your garden is covered by our association. There are owners here that take pride in their garden as though it was part of the inside of their condo. I now want to reach out to our owners. I've chosen not to run for our board. I have given my all for 10 years, and I am stepping down. Please consider taking over my position. I will gladly help you in any way I can to ease you through the process. I did this without any help or knowledge of Florida plantings, and I am sure you can too. Thank you, and I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Joyce. Ray, building captains, please.
Good morning, everyone. So the building captains meet the third Tuesday at 10:30 a.m. And I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. I love Coral Lakes. I love all my neighbors. This place is beautiful. Thank you. And that's for all the work that the building captains, the board, and Campbell does, to keep this place shining. And it's perfectly imperfect, but it's a wonderful place to live. Thank you. So I'm just going to go through the bullet points. I wasn't at the meeting. I had another commitment, but I'll just run through the bullet points. Basically, the building captains, they're in the loop of what's going on with Campbell, the board, and in their particular buildings and share information. So everything that, I'll just list everything that was discussed, that they get an education and an awareness on. So Campbell's procedures, responsibilities, oversight, and contract negotiations, they touch on that. Bug off sprays the last Thursday of every month. That's our exterminator. Fire sprinklers are being worked on. The mill and pave project was discussed. Frida requests that all building captains or whoever has the walkie-talkies to return them in their original packaging to Frida until the next hurricane season, I guess. The checks for the meet and mingle to be forwarded to the building captains, and the building captains should then give them to Robin, my partner here. The status of the inline AC filters was discussed. Future projects concerning the dry events in the individual units, cleaning. Right now, it is the owner's responsibility, but I believe we're going to try to come up with something to get a discount, possibly, a group discount. A Campbell rep was requested to attend our monthly meetings, and I believe Ed Campbell has committed to that, so I want to thank them. And again, I wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. That's the end of the report.
Thanks, Ray. As far as the Facilities Committee, we're still in the process of researching all of our options and contacting different vendors for bids. Social Committee. Robin, do you want to handle that?
The rules and regulations? I'll do both.
Yes, I'm sorry.
First of all, I want to thank the committee, Lou Dunn, Marcia Stein, Allison Spitzer, and Sue Feller, correct, for their work. The rules and regulations are almost complete and will be ready to be voted on at the next meeting. As to the social committee, thank you all of the building captains for taking the checks. And if, I know that Richard is working on Building 5. Do you know who's taking the checks for Building 5, Richard?
Norma Kohler.
Norma, okay. And we seem to be getting a good response. So please, everybody, it's limited only to 200 Coral Lakes residents. We're going to do a lot of different things in the meet and greet this year. The price is very reasonable for what we're getting. The cost was something that was a big concern for us. And thank you. I appreciate being on the board, and I appreciate the members of the board, and I appreciate everybody who lives here, because we all want to keep our area clean and maintained and be proud of where we live. So thank you, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks, Robin.
Thank you, Robin. Okay, unfinished business. I don't believe there is anything, so we're going to go right on to new business, which is the presentation and then the approval of the proposed budget for 2026. Marty, you're on again.
Okay, so if people have looked at their files that I sent out, you'll note that as much as possible, we tried to hold as many expenses flat to what they were for 2025, or there were some we eliminated if we didn't think there was going to be anything. But if you look at, it'll show you line by line which items increased. So if we look at the fourth page, which is essentially a summary of discussion points, our 2026 budget total expenses is $3,484,793. Overall, it's just under it's under a 4%. This 4% increase for Eagle Shores 1. Now, if you look at where the most of our costs are related to that, the master fee is up to $1,002. It's up 5%. Fortunately, insurance went down a little bit. Our cable bill went up 2%, is going up 2%. Our management fee is going up 13%. Our landscaping contract is going up 2%, and water and sewer is going up about 5%. And most of these things we have little or no control over. So as I indicated earlier, just the reserves of our budget is 15% of our total budget, which most of that is an increase due to SERS. Then if we look at the HOA fees, the Master Association fee as a percent of just of our expenses is 35% of the total. The master fee and insurance is 55% of the total expenses. You take the master fee, insurance, and cable is 65%, and then master fee, insurance, cable, management fee, landscaping, and water, 82% of our budget. So as you can see, most of our budget items are things that we have little or no control over. And they go up, for example, water and sewer, that just goes up every year about 3 to 4%. Nothing we can control with that. So at the end of the day, for, again, Regal Shores 1, the quarterly assessment, including the reserve build, is going to be $3,251 a quarter, made up of $2,748 for HOA for our expenses and $503 for reserves. Total assessment is $3,251 a quarter, made up of $2,748 for expenses and $503 for reserve build. Okay. For Regal Shores 2, we went through the same process. We held as many things flat as we possibly could. We ended up, let me get to the last page. Again, Master Association, percentages are approximately the same for the same items, that if you take those items that I just discussed, 82% of Regal Shores 2's budget is these contractual items or fixed items that we have no control over. So at the end of the day, Regal Shores 2's total assessment is $3,264, made up of expenses of $2,825 and a reserve build of $439, totaling $3,264. What?
This line here.
Which line?
This
Yeah.
line, negotiated reserve, percentage of total reserves.
It's just because there was a reduction in Regal Shores 2 because of the existing reserves that we had for the roof. We brought it down.
Oh, okay.
And that is the budgets. Again, everyone's got it. You could see line by line where we either didn't budget something, we didn't think it was necessary, where there's an increase, or where we held it flat or reduced it. So, are there any questions from the rest of the board?
No, Marty, I think we're all good.
Okay.
Do you want to make the
I'm going to make two
motions?
motions. I'm going to make, first motion is I make the motion to accept the proposed 2026 budget for Eagle Shores Condominium Association 1 in the amount of $3,484,793, made up of quarterly payments of $3,381,293, or $3,251 per quarter per unit, and one-time payments for covered parking from those who have covered spots, and script fee from everybody for $300, totaling $103,000.
Yes. Could you come up to the mic?
Joe,
Yeah, come up.
The point is, and I never do this, but this was just now presented, okay? So.
No, it was sent out.
no, it
No,
was.
no, no, I know it was sent out, but it was now presented by Marty. So if there are specific items as related to it that people want to comment upon, shouldn't they have an opportunity to do that prior to a vote being had?
We had that.
No, but you
for-
hadn't yet presented it. You'd only sent it out.
What I just repeated was what's on the schedule.
All right, you know what?
Joe, this is actually a meeting of the Board of Directors to approve the budget. We've heard from the community in the first open mic that we had. Any questions that were asked were asked. And now we had the motion is on the floor, we're going to vote on it.
Well, let him, does he have any questions?
Afterwards, if you have other comments, then we'll have other comments.
Yeah, I think, frankly, Richard, and you know I don't do this, I think that's a disservice to the community.
Well, then let him ask his question.
Okay, in other words, this is a meeting to the agenda item. Had you gone through what you sent out with people who, I'm looking at people here who are using
How long have
reading
you had it,
glasses
Joe?
to see it. 2 days.
2
But
days? We
but I
got
watched-
ours, we had ours, you're right, we got ours, I think, either Friday or Saturday.
Right, but I'm watching people here using magnifying glasses to read it. So what I'm saying is, if in fairness, you should at least let people ask some questions once Marty's presented it.
Questions.
Go ahead.
Joe, what are your questions?
The question that I think is glaring is and I know, Marty, you said that a lot of this stuff we're not capable of doing because it's done by contract, so you're not able to change it. And frankly, I think you guys did a terrific job, because of the way I read this, you actually cut down on what our costs were. But for the fact that the Sears is making us reserve more money, you guys came in less than last year.
That's right.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
However, the question that I have is an almost 13.06% increase on the management contract. That's done by a yearly increase by contract that we have no control over?
Be my guest, Ed.
That's the one.
We had extensive negotiations to bring that to where it was from all the associations. So the reason really, two things. First, the one for the increase, or that amount of increase, is really based on the fact of adding additional staffing to the office. You know, the receptionist that answers the phone now and puts in the work orders and does all those things, plus some other background, you know, back of house accounting and things that are done off-site. That's the primary increase on that.
Well, so that's not an increase that was done by a yearly increase built into an already signed contract, multi-year contract.
No. Well, let me finish. So we're going that way. So there was normally, and this is going to be a long, drawn-out explanation so you understand it. Normally, each of the associations pay the same price for the fees spread out through each door, each unit in the association. You have, just like master, right? Everybody pays the same fee, whether you use the facility or not, blah, 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 all that stuff. And that's how the management fee and other fees also are spread out when it's for the entire community, 7 associations. This year, the HOAs didn't want to do that. The HOA said the condos need to pick up a bigger price of that because they use more services than the HOAs do. And that's where the problem comes in, because now, instead of it being spread out equally, it's now a larger amount is pushed off onto the condos. And Campbell doesn't get to decide that. You tell us how it's divided, and that's how we move forward. There was extensive negotiations on this. It's not like the boards didn't work hard to try to lower those numbers. They busted their butt on it. Matter of fact, I don't even know how many meetings we're up to now. 20? Probably 20 meetings on this subject between all the associations combined. It's ad nauseum. Unfortunately, this is the price based on the fact of the additional services added. Now, there was also discussion of instead of doing a yearly, we're going to like to go to a 3-year with a capped increase, which would probably be based on cost of living, maybe 2%, 3% maybe, if that's how it holds going forward. So that's a positive. Most associations hadn't wanted to do that in the past. They prefer to negotiate it yearly. I think that's a better deal for everybody. In addition, you're going to well, you're not, but we're going to look at the possibility after all the projects are done. You know, right now there's a lot of big projects within the associations. Luckily, Regal Shores really only has one big one left, and that's probably not going to happen for another year, I'd imagine. 1 year. we may be able to reduce staffing to some degree, or maybe we move some things around within Campbell office, and maybe that number is reduced that way as well. And that is part of the negotiation with that as well.
May I ask a predicate question then? Is the association that the master has with Campbell, is that the same agreement?
No.
No.
In other words, the condominiums, Regal Shores, has a separate contract with Campbell Management?
Each community here has a separate contract, and to be honest, and Ed and the rest of the board can attest, this was very, very contentious, that there was a disagreement between what the condos should be paying versus what the HOAs are paying. And this went back and forth multiple times. And to be honest, I don't think anybody is happy, with the increase. We're just not happy with it, but we got stuck with it.
Well, that's
Because essentially the HOAs,
that's
who sort of
clear.
got what they wanted.
Right, and so the only thing that I can suggest to that is the fact that since we have a separate contract with Campbell, that we at least explore that, and in terms of negotiation, and
That's what was done. Each of the communities, because it's done across
Individually.
the board.
So
We
it
meet
was
with
done
all the
individually and then combined with other condos in order to try to increase your bargaining power. And again, it's not against Campbell Management. You have a civil war happening within Coral Lakes.
Yeah.
You have condo and you have HOA. HOA says we don't use all those services. The condos take up all that time. And right, wrong, or indifferent, I don't get a vote. We're told how to divvy it up, and that's all we can do. We don't like it either. Campbell was not happy in this situation, not even a little bit.
Yeah, I guess, where I come out on it, and I understand what you're saying, but the reality is, like this lady suggested before about the fact that not everybody plays pickleball, but we all have to pay for pickleball. I find it kind of difficult here that we choose when we want to be a condominium, and we choose when we want to be, less than a condominium. That's not true. Well, no, but we do. In other words, the Master Association, if everybody's paying for the sports events, well, you know what? The answer to this lady's question is then you have to make your complaint, but you need to make it to the Master Association to say, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want all those services to be shared by everybody in creation. And in the same way, when we, as a residential association, need to look at a management company and decide whether or not a 13% increase is right, wrong, or indifferent, we have to not only look at the services they're providing, but look at, and with all due respect, what other management companies are willing to provide, and see whether our leverage serves us a little bit better. I apologize for doing it now, but until Marty went through it, I didn't understand where this came from. And it's not the biggest figure here, and I told you, I think you guys did a fantastic job with what you had to deal with. This is the one place that I think there was something that was unconscionable. And you know what? The fact that the other HOAs decided that they wanted to stick it to the condos this year, I get it. You're in a lousy position. But I just think that we have to, do we renew our contract with Campbell every year?
Every year we review it.
Then I think we need to review it for next year.
Every year we review it, but if I could also say, and I think you just said it, it's not the biggest number there. What is the management fee of your entire budget? It's probably 1%, less than 1%?
Hold on.
0.1.9, some crazy number like that. Let's keep it in perspective of what we're talking about. If we're going to talk about what the costs and where it's coming from, Campbell is the smallest portion of what it is you're absorbing.
I hear what
It's
you're
about
saying,
10%
but
of the budget.
in a budget
Yes.
where, as Marty described, we have very little opportunity.
that's based on labor.
To change and lower our costs, we have to look everywhere we can to do it.
I'd just like to say two
In
things.
the past, there were other associations here that left management. Is it working? That left, and they came back.
Yeah.
Primarily, the costs that associated with your management is not about what. So it's split into two things. There's management and then there's labor, and so no matter what you do, wherever you go, you're going to pay the same labor. That's the expensive part of your contract. It's what you pay in order to maintain your building and or do your, your cleaning, etc. I will tell you, and I'm proud of this. I'm proud of this. Since I came here, you're saving on the management, the maintenance side of things because of what I do, okay, and because what Campbell allows me to do by bringing in extra help, saves this association well over $100,000 a year, every year. Well over that. I'm being conservative. So I will guarantee you this. You can look at any company you want. I encourage you to. You're never going to make up $100,000 because they're not going to do it for you. They're going to do what every other company has ever done for you before and said, go get a contractor. We're not going to do your drywall. We're not going to do your vents. We're not going to come and do X, Y, Z. They're not going to come here at 3 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock. They're not going to sit in your parking lot and be harassed by the police while I'm watching your building, okay, and put me on the ground to say that I'm a criminal when I'm here protecting you. Okay, so
Ed,
I welcome.
Ed,
I'm not saying to you. I'm saying overall, because if you pick out this as being the one issue, it's the wrong one to pick. There are other issues. Let's blame the state.
I mean, Joe, if
for
you want to, I can
CSRS.
give you the detailed analysis for the management fee if you want to see it.
Yeah, no,
How they came up with the numbers.
yeah, no, believe me, I appreciate that. What I'm just saying, though, is, and that's terrific, and I understand that you guys do what you say that you do. But by the same token, last year you did it for 13.09% less. And no, this didn't go up.
Well,
But
Joe,
we added services. You have extra people now in the building, which may or may not stay that way. You know why? Because you're not alone. People don't like it. People don't like that idea. They may not like it when you take the service away either, but that's,
The more
you only have so
important
many
thing is,
options.
when you're looking year on year, the formula used is very different. You can't, it's not apples to apples anymore. It's not. It's the way they calculated the management fee for 2026 is very different than they calculated for 2025. So it's not truly apples to apples anymore.
Joe, you made a very valid point, and this is what I ask the members of the Regal Shores, condominium. Your representation on the master board for the condo are 2 members. If you are interested in equity, then I would suggest that this might be a possibility, is that you look to get the same representation per unit on the master board. And that will give the condos more vote.
Joe,
You may not be able to do that, but it's something to think about in the future.
well, that's the Master Association. We're really
Master
talking.
Association.
End up with more
Agreed, but the
representatives.
HOAs aren't going anywhere.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to deal with it going forward. Agreed. You know, the more representation you have, the more you can hopefully vote forward with it. You know, it's unfortunate, but Joe, you're not wrong. We hear you, and it's not personal or anything like that. It's just we all worked so hard to try to get this number straightened out, and it was very, very unfortunate.
I
Nobody's happy about it.
But you can just understand
Excuse
that
me,
it's a
but
shock to the
number
system.
one, I think we're going off topic.
Yeah.
Number 2, it is limited to 3 minutes.
I'm done.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, Joe.
Appreciate it.
Anybody have-
All right, we have a motion on the,
Anybody else have any budget questions?
oh, Marty.
Let's get it.
Mark, could I just, Richard, could I just chime in here? Because this is what I explained to my wife. So I worked for the cable company for 35 years. So we're paying $32.51 a quarter, right? 8 years ago when I retired, the package that we have with the internet, 4 TVs, DVRs, this package 8 years ago was worth $250 a month. So I don't pay a cable bill. Of course, it's in my HOA. But so I break it down, that's $750 a quarter. So that comes to, when you subtract $750 from $32.51, that's $2,500. When you bring that down monthly, I tell my wife we're paying $833 a month in reality without a cable bill. So that's how and then that makes her feel better. So I hope it makes you feel a little better too.
Getting cable, and the company gave us back money when we signed the contract per unit.
All right, last comment.
I was just wondering if you could please tell me the exact increase in our maintenance. How much did it go up this year?
From 25 to 26.
No, you're talking at the total, the bottom line?
No. How much increase?
In the main,
From 20,
Just the maintenance excluding reserves, or the total amount you
The
pay?
total.
from 25 to what you're paying
No, it's
now.
31.
I see here
Marty, I don't think she wants the
260
total. I think what she said.
161, is that correct?
Oh, we don't, what, no, you look for your bottom line, or your, what number, what you want me to compare to? What to what? Our bottom line total HOA?
Yes.
Okay. 3.8%.
I'm sorry?
3.8%.
Well, what does that amount to in dollars and cents?
Net of $120 a month, a quarter.
Thank
Additional.
you. And whoever made up this budget, I think you should tell them they should make it a little smaller next year.
You're right.
We'll try, that way we can save on printing.
It used to be on legal.
Okay.
Send it out, it's too expensive.
Just one question. I heard them say they hired another person in the Campbell office, so that's another salary included. Did the board get to vote on that, or did they just say we're putting another person?
No, it's not.
No, yes, it was demanded by the associations. Campbell didn't opt to do it. It was there was a meeting in October of last year, and then followed up in February of 2025, where the associations demanded an additional person be added. But like everything else, Campbell sucked it up and paid for it for a whole year. They can't continue to do that. So that cost is passed on to the associations, normally broken out evenly across everyone. The HOA said, nah, even though we asked for it, we don't want to pay for it.
Well, that doesn't seem right.
We agree with you. It's not right. But what are you going to do?
So where's the place, I'm new to this, to oppose that? Is that at the master meetings?
No, because each of your associations has its own contract.
I'd like to say something.
And
because
so-
go ahead. I've been sitting here listening, and the fact of the matter is, yes, the board did complain. We complained because there was a lack of services, and the community was on us on a regular basis, saying calls were not being returned, this was not happening, that was not happening, and the building captains meeting was evidence of the same kind of thing, where we heard the constant complaints. Many of these jobs that we're talking about used to be handled by one person. Now, for some reason, they can no longer be handled by one person. Either they have grown to that point that they needed an additional person, or we need to hire somebody who can handle it as one person. I don't know the answer to that because I'm not into the details, but that's my question. If we had one person that could handle it, and now we can't, and we had to hire an additional person, that's thousands of dollars. I understand what you're saying.
And it's the same number of condo units, that didn't grow.
But there are
People-
things that did grow. I mean, the expenses of the roof and writing the checks to pay for the roof and writing the checks to pay for, I understand all of that kind of stuff. So that's the kind of thing that has to be compared. But still, in all, there was one person that handled it, and now it's one, are they two full-time? I don't even know. Are they
Three
all-
full-time in the office.
Three full-time people.
Well, I'm saying the same thing.
may-
Maybe it's a training issue.
May I say something? I'd like to say something, okay? I'm living here 15 years, okay? I've been on the board, this is my 8th year on the board. There was a time where we were having problems with our accounting. We were not getting our monthly package on time before the board meeting. Things were being overlooked. The work was too much for the person who was handling it, clearly. There was a back office handling some things, minor, or I won't say minor, but only a small percentage of what needed to be done. That got transferred because things were not happening the way they should, and it was not the fault of the person who was doing the work. It was just too much work for one person, period. And now things are running more smoothly because we have someone in the back office who has assumed a lot more responsibility of the accounting and the work that has to be done for not only Regal Shores, but for the other associations as well. Now, it's been a fact. I know I worked with 3 or 4 different presidents of the board. It's been a fact that the condominiums use more services from Campbell than the HOAs do. They were paying the same amount, but in reality, they were not using the same amount. That's just the reality. You look at the 4-story buildings or the 2-story buildings compared to a home, and what HOAs are permitted to do in terms of services from a management company are different. What the responsibilities of they're not responsible for the roof. Now, another issue is we've had 2 assessments. We have had not only 2 assessments that have to be managed, but we also did all the work getting that project off the ground. And the management company was involved. Ed was involved. I've worked with 3 different property managers here, and Ed is by far superior. And I have experience in other locations as well, working on condo boards. So I'm not happy about an increase, but overall, when you look at all the other budget lines that have not gone up, and some that we did not even fund because we don't think we need to, and the fact that we have to meet all of these requirements from the state, I think we're doing very well. The amount of our increase, I was happy. It was minimal. When we first started this project, this process of doing the budget, I thought it was going to come out to a lot more.
Well, I mean, the point I was bringing up, which you did answer, is about the new person. But I believe that you said that the condos use the person more, so we're paying more, which was my point earlier. The people that use the pickleball and bocce ball should pay just
But
like we're paying
that's
more.
2 different things. It's
I
2
know,
different
I
things.
know.
This is our management contract we're talking about,
understand
not
that,
the
but
living
it's
situation in the
same
entire
analogy, though.
community.
Thank you.
Go ahead, might as well. Get it, go ahead.
You keep bringing up that the condos use more of efforts, work, whatever, than some of the other associations. I'd like to give some examples. How do we use more efforts than, say, Coral Cove? I mean, Crystal Point. I can understand a...
Crystal Point is considered a condominium.
Oh, they are. So it's the 3 as opposed to the...
4. Egret, Tuscany, Regency Cove, and Royal Landings are
They're
HOAs.
separate.
They're HOAs.
They're HOAs.
They're under a different Florida law, 719 instead of 718.
Okay, so Crystal Point, Coral Cove, and us are considered the same.
718 Florida
Okay. Can
state
you give
condominium law.
just a brief example, please, how we use so many more services than they
Marshall,
do?
let me ask you a question. If we have a problem with let's take the roofs, because everybody's very familiar with what just went on with that.
Mm-hmm.
We pay for that, and we pay for that in our budget. A homeowner in the HOAs doesn't have that in their budget. They don't use Campbell for that. They all have their own contractors, a roofing contractor, a gardener. They all have that separate. They all pay for that. However, we're using Campbell for 292 units to do that, for the roofs, for the elevators, for drywall. If there's a problem with drywall in the HOAs, what do? They have to call a separate repairman to come in and do it. They don't use Campbell.
I see.
And these are minor things. I mean, it just goes on and on and on.
Yeah, plumbing, lighting, trash rooms, fire inspections.
When something
fire
happens after
systems.
hours, you call Ed and he comes out.
Yeah.
Or Sean will come out.
That's right.
And as like they said, they sat there 24/7.
I know that.
Yeah.
Well, that is something that
That we
a
do where-
homeowner does not use.
Yeah, if something happens in a homeowner in the middle of the night, they call a contractor or somebody. They don't call us.
Fire
thank-
alarms go off in the middle of the night. We've had to call it.
I know that, yeah,
All
thank
right,
you.
so-
All right, thank you. I'm just going to stop by saying I hope Marty and Richard will be our representatives on the master board again next year. And you've always stood up for Regal Shores. I mean, you guys have always done a wonderful job, and deservedly so. And I just hope that I totally agree with some of what our neighbors have talked about us. It seems that the master board, it's a constant drip with no attempt to turn it off. And every year, it's more and more expenses. And where do they cut off? Any place? I have never heard them cutting off to lower costs. That's always increased, and it's got to stop.
Well, you know what?
Marcia, we've called special meetings with the master board that we have sat there and we have argued that point.
I know you have. I know you have. But you two seem to be the only two people who do it.
The other issue is the HOAs want more.
They have more representation.
Well, let them pay for it.
It's two representatives from each association.
I know
So we
that.
have 3 condo associations, that's 6 representatives out of 14. And the HOAs look at things differently.
Well, you got a tough job, and I know that
It's
you're
not
on our
easy.
side.
And
Thank
that's
you.
why you have to go to the master board meetings and make
How
your
crowded
voice
our meeting
heard.
is.
We hear your voice here, but we only have 2 representatives.
All right,
You
well,
have to
again-
make your voice heard.
Again, we're going off topic. Right now, there is a motion on the floor. The motion has been seconded. The motion was seconded. I would like to take the vote now, and this is for Regal Shores 1. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Marty, the second motion, please.
Okay, I make the motion to accept the proposed 2026 budget for Eagle Shores Condominium Association 2 in the amount of $433,264, made up of quarterly total payments of $417,664, or $3,264 per quarter per unit, and one-time payments for covered parking from those who have covered spots, and cafe script of $300 from everybody of $15,600.
I second the motion.
Okay, the motion is on the floor. It has been seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion also passes unanimously. Marty, thank you very much. Okay, at this point, I will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes. All right, now we have a second open mic. This is our question-answer period that everything is,
Fair game.
go for it, Ellen.
Hi. First of all, I happen to love living here. I do agree that's a great point about not playing for pickleball and stuff like that. That's a great point. I never thought about that. But I love living here, and I've never had any issues with Campbell Management. I love Ed. I love Sean. I'm getting to my point. However, as 3 of you know up there, and some of you who have passed my house know, I live in Building 9, Unit 107. On September 22nd, I decided to go into my fence with my car. I don't know why, but I did. Anyway, after much writing and calling back and forth, my insurance company paid for everything. They paid for my car, they paid for the fence, and they paid for the gardening around it. However, I am very discouraged and I'm very upset of the way Campbell has handled this and the way our gardener has handled this. When the fence was put in after much back and forth, which I don't know why I had to even go through that, because they had received my check, and I was told that by Campbell Management. they came and they put in the fence. So the first night, we woke up the next day to a flood outside because they broke a sprinkler hose pipe, or whatever you call those things, a sprinkler head, and they never repaired it, and they never did anything. They didn't even tell me. And I walked out, there was water all on my walkway. If anybody would have walked and fallen, God knows what would have happened. I did speak to Sean, who's very nice, but he's very overworked, so he doesn't get back to you right away. So I spoke to them. They said they know they did this. Well, if you know you do this, how can you leave it like that? And how can you not tell me, the owner of the condo, that there was a broken sprinkler head? Sprinkler head, is that what it was? Okay, so they filled that little part in. However, there's another post between me and my neighbor of 108 where they put it in and they never filled the dirt back in. Which, how can you put the post in the ground and leave the dirt out? So that's not filled. Then also, when they put in the fence, I told Ed and Sean, and I sent pictures to Richard. These two are very tired of hearing from me. But in between our units is the trellis with the vine. That got damaged a little bit. And I sent an email to Richard. I don't have Ed's email, or I would have called him or whatever. But it was a little bit off the trellis, or off the track. All they needed to do is move it back. Well, yesterday they came, they trimmed the vines, I don't know why, and they knocked it further out of place. So I don't know what's going on here, but all I know is that I pay my money when it's due, and this is the first time in 11 years, I think, 11 years that I have had a problem, that I've had to deal with management, and I've had to deal with the gardeners. I do my own gardening inside. I am proud of my garden. However, the fact that this is not already accomplished, and I would say it's 2 months ago, but you didn't get my check right away, but at least it's a month and a half. How can this go on? This isn't even major, and it's still going on, and I just don't understand it. If somebody could put logic to this, I would understand it and I'd be fine. Thank you.
I can attempt on part of it. So when they installed the fence, they left that hole open where
They
the
left two
break.
holes.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So the one that they left open was where the break was.
Yes.
Sean contacted Palm Beach Broward, who makes the repairs, and said, there's a break here, we need you to come over and do it. He was told that they would be there before the end of the day to make that repair. That didn't happen.
No, it didn't happen.
No, it didn't happen.
And one thing I have to add, they left mud and dirt that is still there. We have swept it. We, as a resident, has swept it up, except in the parking lot.
Yeah.
It is disgusting.
So the second hole
Yes.
that was there was also a suspected leak, so that's why it was left open. As far as filling it back in or whatever else, I don't know why they didn't do that, but I made a note of it. We'll make sure if there's anything in the parking lot needs to be cleaned up, we'll clean it up, we'll pick it up.
Please.
That's
It's
not
filthy.
that's
It's
not a problem.
disgusting.
We'll go over there and sweep it or whatever needs to be done. At the end of the day, though, we don't make the repairs to the irrigation. The fence company will not. They don't. It's part of their disclaimer. Anything underground, because that can't be identified by by the people that came. You recall when that gentleman came in the little white pickup truck and he brought flags and he was identifying
Oh, yes,
the areas.
and with cones
Yes. Those.
Yeah, okay, that was fun.
That doesn't identify irrigation or any of those things. So if it gets broken, the fence company says not us, and so Palm Beach Broward was asked to do it. Unfortunately, it didn't get done that night,
Well-
and it created that flood outside where it ran and the mud and everything else. So anyway, as far as the dirt getting put back, we'll deal with that.
Okay.
The vine, I have no idea. I don't know if a work order was put in for the vine. The vine, I don't
I'd
know.
like to ask you.
Yes, sweetheart.
Where have you gotten in terms of speaking to Joe or Palm Beach Broward?
I don't even know who to talk to.
Okay,
See,
because-
this is another issue.
I don't think she's spoken to him at all.
This
So
is
at this
not my
point,
place to
it's,
speak to anybody. This
we
is
would.
All right,
somebody
but
who's.
I don't know, nothing was given to me as in terms of what landscaping is going to be done on the outside. That I would take care of for you, and
Well-
you'd be billed. But your inside is totally your land.
Not the vines.
No, I'm
No.
talking about
Well,
the
the
flowers.
inside, I know. I'm not worried about
Okay,
that.
so-
He gave me a bill. Joe knows about this.
Yes,
Because he gave me a bill that my insurance company paid that too.
Yes, and
So-
he was supposed to be replacing the landscape that was damaged. As far as the vine goes, I don't recall that even being listed.
It
but,
was.
But he can, no, I mean,
I'll
as
talk
far
to
as
him
his
about
work,
it.
but
Oh,
as
I'm
far,
sorry.
yeah,
Okay.
as far as his work, not part of the insurance stuff.
I have pictures if anybody wants
Yeah,
to see.
no, I mean, it's probably not a big deal to push the vine back up and attach
Well,
it.
now that they cut half of them down. And I don't know, they cut half of the vines off the trellis, and I don't know why they did. And they actually, it was just slightly off the track. They pushed it so far back that I don't think it can be repaired at this point.
All right,
and-
I
and
made
these
note
people-
of it. I will call Joe. I'll meet you outside. I'll call him with you there.
Let me tell you something. These people who do the gardening, no, I'm sorry, but they just trample over everything. They trample over all of my plants that I plant. They trample over everything. They really don't care what they're ruining or when they're ruining it. So I just want to say that. Have we ever investigated going to another landscaping company?
You'll wind up going back to them because other.
Okay,
it's
I didn't know. But if they could talk to their people and, I don't know, whatever. Thank you. Thank you. I'm done now.
Thank you.
Mark Klein, Building 9. I can't even read your thing. Hello? Oh, you can hear me. Okay, I just want to address a few things. Number one, which came up, I was at the meeting with Joyce when they signed the contract with Broward, Palm Beach Broward. And I got to tell you, working with her the little bit that we did, she pushes for everything. And the owner from that company was willing to bend, he gave us, I think it was over $1,000 worth of extra work. If we need, they'll do it. Many times, there should be a charge for something that they repair. Joyce goes and we don't have to pay it. Now, I spoke to Bob last night, and Bob said that he doesn't want her at home all the time, so he drafted her to take over. Now, to get serious, okay? As far as the bocce ball, there's over 200 people who signed up at $25 a person. Where's the money going?
It's master.
If you're going to get a
Can't
coach.
answer that question.
It's master. You have to go to
It's
the
a
master.
master.
Okay, so we have to handle that with the master, okay? Because I was going to say, if they're paying that, that's what should pay for the coaches. Going back to the master board, I was there this week, they cut 2 people. Now, whether they were in maintenance, they had said in the past, and this all came, you're going to get the paperwork from the meeting we had, the Captain Buildings meeting, okay? They brought in another person a while ago. It failed. Now they're bringing in a person that's going to be paid hourly, so they don't have to pay fringe benefits. Now let's get to Campbell, okay? What should be done, number one, is we know that every contract is basically the same old contract, and they add amendments to it.
No.
To make changes.
That's not true.
No, sir, it was completely renovated last year, or earlier this
Okay,
year,
I thought
to
that's what
include all the items that the associations asked for.
Okay.
100% change.
I want to, let's talk something else. You had in the budget for pressure washing, I guess that would be the sidewalks, okay? Any other company included, and I complained about it the last meeting, that the stairways, the catwalks, and the railings are supposed to be, or this other company, steam cleans it twice a year. After I complained, they knew that I go into building,
Fiddler.
I don't think they steam clean
No.
the
no, wait,
stairways.
I go in, well, high pressure, not steam, high pressure, okay?
No.
Now, they know that I go into building 7 a lot, because I cheat with this woman whose husband is out working, so I go up the steps.
He died.
No, all kidding aside, I go up the steps, I've complained about it. All of a sudden, after that meeting, there they are with the hose, and they cleaned the catwalks, okay? And they did the stairs. That should be done minimum once a year. That should be part of the contract.
Mark, may I say something
Yes,
about
ma'am.
what you said about power washing? We, in the past, used a company called Fiddler. Fiddler came and they did our sidewalks. To my recollection, we did not do the railings with Fiddler, nor the catwalks. We may have, but I don't recall. They were very expensive.
Yeah.
When we started with Ed and we talked about things being done in-house, it was agreed that we would have Arthur and what's the younger guy's name? And Christian do that for us at a reduced cost, a much reduced cost. Now, as far as we talked about those catwalks many times, yes, they should be cleaned. I'm not arguing about that. But in terms of doing more on the catwalks, you know we're not doing that until we paint the buildings again. So cleaning them, I agree with you, but Fiddler did not do those additional things without an additional expense.
Okay, we
Power
shouldn't.
wash them, it's gonna rip the paint right off.
Yeah.
No, if you use high pressure, what I'm saying is go over with a hose like they did at Building 7. And better yet,
They do, they do that periodically.
I have complained about the paint on the catwalks and the steps.
They're not going to do anything about
Hold
that.
it,
She
hold
just
it,
told
Mark,
you that.
we're not doing, and listen to me and hear me clearly.
Yeah.
Because you bring this up every month.
That's
We
right.
are not doing that until we paint the buildings again in the cycle of painting. That's the answer.
The
So there's
prob-
no reason to bring it up again about the paint not adhering or.
That's exactly right, and it's getting worse and worse, and it's not chipping, it's wearing
Do you,
away.
would you
because the
like
paint
us to
was
go
too
to the
thin.
expense now of doing that and
We
put that
shouldn't
into?
have, well, yeah, because we don't have insurance for it, but
It's not
we do,
insur-
we do have
There's no insurance
a
for that.
warranty, I mean,
A warrant?
from the painter, because
no.
Ed said there's no,
From the get-go, the paint company said there are no warranties
yeah,
for
we
any
understand that.
floor
But
surface.
we can touch it up.
No,
So-
you cannot. You
Yes.
cannot touch it up. It's not effective. It doesn't adhere. It has to be stripped down to the concrete, and that will be done when we paint the buildings again. Completely cleaned of paint, the steps and the catwalks. A whole new coat of paint, so that 10 years from now, somebody may complain, or 20 years from now, that the paint is not sticking to the catwalks. But until that time, we have to do the parking lots. We have other things that are coming
Let me
before
correct
that.
you for a minute.
Yes.
As you know, I touched up, which I found out I'm not allowed to.
No, you're not.
I touched up the steps because I have all the touch-up paint. And every time I go up, I stuff it. Nothing comes up. It adheres to it. My feeling is the painter used too thin of a paint on the catwalk, and that's why it's wearing away. And that was painted, what, 2 years ago?
It's more than 2 years.
Okay, so that's, we're not going to go into that. Now, here's a question for you, Ed. Is it true that the owner of Campbell has a separate company that does subcontracting?
No. Subcontracting for what? For maintenance-related stuff?
No, for anything, because my
Okay,
bonus
so
intention is this
Campbell
came-
Management.
This came back to me, and if that's the case, is it possible that some of these jobs that should be handled in-house, and I know some of the jobs have been transferred in-house,
Yes.
but is it possible that there's other jobs that are being done that should be in-house that we're paying double, because we're paying Campbell, and then we're paying the subcontractor.
No.
Let me continue. Then, in the new contract, which I asked for last year, is there should be a statement in that Campbell is there when we use a subcontractor for when he gets started,
Yes.
checks every day that the
Yes.
project is working, and then does a thorough inspection before we make the last payment.
Yes. And we do all of that.
Yeah, and
we do
I'm
all-
surprised, when Storm did the roofs,
You had a professional project manager
Yeah.
that took care of all of that. Had nothing to do with Campbell, was hired separately
So-
from them. We're not supervising your supervisor. We're not paid
well,
to do that.
let's put it this way.
I can't tell a roofing contractor as a non-roofing contractor.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be, even if it's somebody on the outside like that, wouldn't it be in our best interest? We have cracking that started probably 3 weeks after they put the concrete in underneath the half-round tiles. And I complained about it, and they came over, and they just
And
splashed
that's-
some cement on it.
That's
But now
an
we're
ongoing-
finding in Richard's building, it's coming out in 2-inch pieces.
Yeah,
It's already been reported to the roofing.
No,
the
we
roofing
understand
company
that.
is handling that. That's not a Campbell duty. Matter of fact,
We're dealing with the roofing.
you're dealing with the roofing company and the people that are responsible for that process. It's not a
Okay,
Campbell
so
thing.
lastly-
But let's back up because you
Go
brought
ahead.
up a couple of
Shoot.
items. As far as like the pressure cleaning and all or maintenance related stuff, no, Campbell does not own a maintenance company. They have CPM, which is Complete Property Maintenance, but they're a landscaping company. And they do work periodically with some of the communities. They have a real estate company, a real estate arm, like most management companies do, et cetera. They deal with a number of other items, but no, there's no maintenance related. As a matter of fact, I work with Arthur and Christian in order to, again, like I said earlier, save the association hundreds of thousands of dollars in order to eliminate bringing in outside contractors. We do all of the stuff that we can possibly do without requiring a specialty license or something of that nature, like plumbing or electrical or something like that. But everything else we try to do in-house in order to reduce those costs.
Okay,
100% we go across the board
I know
for
I'm over my
that.
3 minutes, but I just want to say, bring up 2 other points that came up at the captain's meeting. We know that, I think it's in Building 2, one of the members had rats behind her sink. Yeah, she is. Anyway, they called out, who was that? The comp-
came, but due to their negligence, we had rats, because they never put the poison.
Right.
in the
So they went out and got bug off, and that guy came out of retirement, so he hadn't even been working. And then they put out, I think Rich said, 18 more traps around her building. Oh, by the way, and tell me if I'm wrong, when Sean came and they saw the baby rats, he says, "Oh, they're so cute." Okay? She's panicking. Then Bug Off puts out the traps. He put no bait in it. And we're paying him. That's what I'm saying is, that's not quality. And then with the bees, it was another company, I forgot the name of the company, that Campbell called to take care of the bees. The guy never showed up. So again, it's lack of follow-up, okay? And when people bring up about other companies in management, nothing would hurt to speak to another company, see what they offer. Then when you write your next contract with Campbell, at least you know what to ask for, what you're able to get elsewhere at the cost. When we had the meeting, the captain's meeting, we just about, I'm going to get off. Most of us, if not all of us, said we're not getting our money's worth. Period. I thank you for everything you do. And Joyce,
Mark,
welcome
Mark,
back to doing
why don't you
landscaping.
take my place?
No, no,
please,
no, no,
Joyce.
no.
Please.
I don't know.
You want to curse us? Do you want to curse us? I know, but who, God. All right.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, Mark. Hi, Frida.
Hello, I'm Frida Toback, Building 7. My remarks are for Marty. Marty, you wrote a brilliant plan. Here's the problem. In a room full of accountants, they would know how brilliant it is. In a room full of people who aren't accountants, I would suggest that you make a couple of changes in the future. One is, because we're over 55 and we have something called presbycusis, we don't see as well as we used to. And going up in print size would be very helpful. Okay?
If you print it larger on that size paper, you're not gonna get the whole budget. The only way it can be done is on legal size paper, and when we send it out, it's a fortune.
We used to do legal size, but it is a lot more expensive to mail
Send
it
out
out.
292 copies in legal size paper is a fortune.
Okay, but, yes, right. But it's my.
You know what? I use a magnifying glass. I find that works very well.
Okay, you are not,
It's on the
it's
website.
not
You
the
can
same,
zoom in.
okay? Presbycusis is a vision disorder due to aging.
Frida, the budget, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but the budget is on the website. And you can zoom in on it, you can look at the whole thing on the website, you can zoom in and go line by line, and you can see a much larger copy. Or you can use readers or magnifying
We
glasses, depending
disagree.
upon what your
We-
eyesight
We
is.
disagree, but let me continue. Number one is the size of the print. Number two is that I would appreciate some clarification on some of the items listed here, okay? I don't understand all those words. Perhaps you could explain it better.
Like what?
That's
Like what?
What in particular?
page 3. Total of sirs and non-sirs.
Yeah. What's the issue?
What is that?
That's a legal required, SIRS is the new stuff that we have, let me finish.
Yeah.
Has to be reserved for. We're required to break that out from our existing reserves.
Marty, I'm not arguing. I'm simply saying, could you write a short clarification so we would understand where our money goes?
We've been
That's
doing
all.
that at every meeting, what SIRS is about.
We talk about it.
Thank you. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, same to you, Frida.
Just one quick question, and I really, coming to this meeting, have an appreciation of what everybody's doing. But what Mark was saying about the paint, so if I have my house painted and the painter doesn't do such a great job and there's problems, I call him up and I say, hey, Joe or whoever, come on back because it's chipping. How come we couldn't call the contractor back because he didn't do the best job and he's got to stand behind his work?
From the beginning, when they gave us the contract, they said, we will not do anything with this floor. We recommend that you take all of it up, all of the coverings, multiple cycles of paint, been there for 25-ish some odd years, because nothing will stick to this. So
Paint on paint.
it's paint on top of bad paint. So there is no warranty. They're not coming back to do it for free. They don't even recommend you do anything on top of it at this point. So what's the point?
Okay, so if I'm understanding you, we didn't strip it down, we just said, go ahead.
No, ma'am.
And he warned us.
He said you cannot continue to put 5, 6, 7 layers on top of paint that's nearly 30 years old, that's walked on every day. So the association understands that. The trouble is the cost in order just to strip it down, not to repaint, but to strip it down, was more than it cost to paint the 11 buildings in Regal Shores.
I hear what you're saying.
And so you don't have those reserves. You certainly don't want another assessment. So the idea is that when you come to your next round of painting, the board is is budgeting forward to that point in order to have that money so that, again, it's not another expense
Right,
occurred.
I didn't know that piece, and it didn't make sense if someone's doing work and then it begins to
Well,
not
the
be
person
paid.
that brings it up every month doesn't stick around to hear the facts on it.
Come every month, you'll learn a lot.
I mean,
You'll learn a lot.
that makes it make sense, but you could understand why you would question that.
course.
All right, thank
Come
you.
every month.
This is the first time you've heard it, but the gentleman that brings it up every month has heard it now for 3 years, every month, that this is the answer. There's not a different answer.
Mort Kane from Building 1. Unfortunately, some of you board members have left already. I just want to say we have 7 volunteer board members up there, and you, Ed, also. You're all doing a thankless job. I want to thank you. Yes, some people got complaints. You generally take care of them quickly. Thank you for the work that you do. Okay.
Thank you so much. Have a happy Thanksgiving. He's such a nice man. Such a sweetheart.
I just wanted, I'm sorry to have to follow that. That should have been the last thing. But I just wanted to know what the outcomes, I don't know if Ray meant, Rosol's building too, if Ray mentioned about about changing the bidding, you know, for different contractors, like Bug Off and Excellent, because Excellent is the one who actually caught the rats in my apartment. And I've been using Vantica. I'm a good girl. I'm really trying to work with that. And then the last thing that Ed told me, I don't know if I should talk to him privately, but that now it's my responsibility. There are traps in my attic, and I don't know if I hear noises sometimes, and I don't know. I'll never have company again, I guess, but I don't know if those traps are working, and where is the follow-up? And then Ed said it's my responsibility. But why is it my responsibility?
It's in your home. It's inside your apartment.
It's been the same, and it's the same for every unit. The traps were not placed there by Bug Off either. They're not your personal pest control company, and they won't do that work. And you brought in Excellent Environmental, which is great. You're entitled to use anybody you'd like to handle your internal pest control. And this is an internal pest control issue.
But this all happened after the roof was put in.
Again,
But you helped me. But why did you help me at the beginning then? And now it's my responsibility.
I helped you in the beginning because the roof is not your responsibility, and you had concerns. So we did everything we could to try to address all of your concerns on the external portion of the building. Again, you don't own that, right? That's not your responsibility. So we did that. Your exterminator said, oh, after that, your exterminator said, oh, I don't think it's roof rats. Oh, I think it's sewer rats. So what did the association do? Association's required or is responsible for the main line sewer. So we said, hey, we're responsible for the main line sewer. Let's go up and pay a company $1,700 to look down through the sewer lines with cameras, because that's what your company said. Again, trying to do the responsibilities of the associations. Now the remaining responsibility for this other portion is yours as the unit owner. And we've talked about this, and I know it's very frustrating, Roz, and I'm sorry. It's frustrating that I can't help you do it, but I can't. It's not the association's responsibility. So you have to follow through on your portion of it. And I know you got very upset last week when we talked about it, and that's unfortunate, but you have to follow through.
I just don't understand why is it my responsibility now and it wasn't at the beginning?
No, there's portions that are on the association, which the association handled, and there's portions that you're responsible for. Pest control, interior, you need to handle. That's yours. There's not a lot of mystery there.
If it's in the wall, if it's behind my vanity,
irrelevant.
is it my responsibility or is it part of the building?
It's your
There's
responsibility
an odor
for
coming
pest
from
control.
my bathroom.
Yes, ma'am. And so you should have it investigated by your pest control company.
But
That's the
Bug Off
bottom
is
line.
our pest control company.
No, they're
which
not.
I
No,
think you
they're
should
not.
fire, but
They
anyway.
they only do exterior pest control outside. That's all they do.
Then why did they come in? They were the one who found the rats.
They came in, and unfortunately, no good deed goes unpunished, Ross. No good deed goes unpunished.
Well, you should have told me that. It wasn't your
Ross, we've been
responsibility.
telling you since day one. I spoke to you and your daughter before this ever started. We had an in-depth conversation
I want to ask
about
you,
it.
so something that's in the wall behind my sink,
As far as pest control goes, yours.
Roz, let me just say, add something.
Same thing with the plumbing back
If you
there.
s-
It's your plumbing.
If
It's
you
not the
speak to your
association.
neighbors, you'll find that many people have a contract, a yearly contract. There was a time with an extermination company, they
That's
come
not
once.
for rats.
They come.
Not
listen,
for
Listen,
rats.
listen to, just hear me out, okay? All right? They come once a year, they spray inside your outlets and so on for minimal things, water bugs, whatever. There was a time where all of a sudden I saw what I thought were shavings near my refrigerator. They came and they pulled out my refrigerator and there was a mountain that ants had brought in from outside. Now, that was my responsibility. It
That's
was
in your
my
apartment.
apartment. It was in my apartment.
but this is
They
behind my
came from
wall.
outside, but it was in the wall in my apartment. And I called them, they had pulled
You
out
said
the
behind the refrigerator. That's not in your wall.
and that was in my contract, it was in my contract. They came through the wall into my
You know what,
apartment.
Shelley,
And
I
listen,
appreciate
listen,
what you're
Roz,
trying to
listen,
say.
Listen, that was covered by my contract.
I
didn't
already
pay
paid
extra.
$400 to fix an AC duct that the rats had eaten away because they were looking for water, okay? I mean, this just doesn't end. And also, the other issue is that we need to switch because Royal Landings fired Bug Off because they are so bad.
But Bug Off is for outside. What you're talking about is what's happening inside, if I hear you correctly, what's happening inside.
I want to ask you, can you please answer my question?
I'll try.
Behind my wall, in the walls, is that do I own that or is that part of Regal Shores? In the wall? No, behind the wall. That is my response.
Unfortunately, I've tried to explain this, and I know it's frustrating, Roz. I know, I got that.
And expensive.
Yeah, and expensive. I got that. The association has spent many, many thousands of dollars on this already, okay, trying to help within their responsibilities. But you're going to have to do this. You're going to have to hire a company. You're going to have to use them to figure out what's going on with it. If there is some kind of responsibility someplace that the association has, they're going to handle it. They're going to do it. They always have. I think Richard's has tried to explain this to you multiple times.
And then stopped.
No,
because Bug
Roz,
Off put the traps there.
No, the Bug Off didn't put any traps
Yes,
up there.
they did.
No, they don't do that. They don't do that. They're not your personal exterminator, and they don't do interior service for us. Some people hire them privately. We don't.
Then why did they get the rats out from behind my wall?
Again, no good deed goes unpunished.
Well, either it is or it isn't.
It's not.
Either it's
It's
legal
not.
or it's not
Would you like
legal.
the bill? Would you like us to forward you the bill for that? And it's.
I didn't know, but nobody said that to
No,
me. I
but
didn't
we
even know
did.
the plumbing was coming. I didn't even know
Roz.
they were coming. They didn't even
Roz,
tell me.
Roz, do you not remember we had that wall open before because you had plumbing issues previously, right?
No, it wasn't me. It was the former tenant.
Oh.
I didn't even know about it.
You didn't know about that.
No, I didn't.
Okay.